Hey future you, this is Gemini, day 4 of Seoul, South Korea. Today we celebrated the fact that we are finally over our jet lag. It seemed to take a lot longer than we expected. We were so happy when we opened our eyes and we saw that the sun was actually out for the very first time, and so we're definitely excited to be feeling a little bit more settled and adjusted to the Korean time zone. We like to cut some fruit in the morning while we're still looking up cafes and restaurants that we want to visit that day. We've been using a Korean app called Mango Plate to look up some cute areas and cafes, and we settled on Ikseon-dong. It's a traditional Hanok neighborhood in Seoul that has a lot of trendy cafes and restaurants. We were very curious about one in particular called Miltos because they specialize in steamed bread. The interior of the cafe was very peaceful. There was lots of calming music and many friends had come to hang out and catch up over coffee. When you're ordering the steamed bread, you can actually order it in a set of 2. So we chose 2 different flavors. The first was a bulgogi, which means meat, and then we also got a sweet potato flavor as well. And they came wrapped in this adorable little cloth as well as the steam basket. The breads were so much fun to pull apart, but we definitely burned our hands a little bit because we were just so eager to try them out. We were not disappointed. These breads were absolutely delicious. They tasted a little bit more of a croissant, so very buttery and sweet, but we really enjoyed them. We stayed and talked in the cafe for quite a while, but then it was time to head out. So we put on our gloves and our hat because it is still quite cold in Korea, or maybe we're just adjusting from coming from a hotter climate. But we headed out and walked around the Ikseon-dong village. There was lots to do. For example, there was horoscopes that you could purchase and kind of read with your friends. And then of course, many more cafes to check out. So we saw this one called Cafe Highways. We went inside and the atmosphere was so lovely. It was a very vintage feeling and the cakes and desserts were so beautiful. We also noticed that there was lots of different types of scones, so if you like scones, this is definitely your heaven. We really wanted to try out the cakes because they looked so beautiful, but we weren't quite ready for something super sweet, and so we sadly had to head out a little bit earlier than we expected. Luckily, we live very close to the Ikseon-dong village, and so we'll definitely come back and try out the cafe again once we have a little bit more of a sweet tooth. At this point, we were still determined to visit another cafe to grab some coffee or a small dessert, but we couldn't find something that quite fit our style or I guess our mood for that day, so we were just mainly walking around. We also found the famous ang butter store, so you might have heard in Korea there's a very popular treat called ang butter, which is anko or red bean paste and butter. So it definitely looked intriguing, but honestly at this point we were quite hungry from all the walking around, so we decided instead of a cafe to look for a place for lunch, and we found this massive line. I mean, it was so long, but we thought that if the line was long, the food might be worth it, and so we decided to wait. At several points we almost gave up and left the line, but looking back we are so glad that we waited because this restaurant was absolutely worth it. The restaurant was really cozy inside, we loved the atmosphere, and we were also so happy with the dishes that we ordered. We got an omu rice, which is egg and rice with some curry, and then we also ordered this seafood pasta, which was really good, and the proportions were actually super great, although they look kind of big on screen. After that meal, we decided to go and meet up with our friend Devin, who's also studying at USC, so that was really exciting. We actually missed our bus, which really sucked because the next one was only coming 20 minutes later, so we stopped at an Olive Young to look at some beauty products. They were having a really good sale at the time, so we looked around and we were actually searching for the Abib products that our older sister has got us really hooked on. So we'll probably come back and buy some because we had to run and catch the bus. The cafe that we decided to go to is called Cafe Onion, and it's located in Anguk. It is such a beautiful cafe. I wish we could have come in the daytime as well so we could see what it looks like, but it's in this beautiful Hanok style cafe, and inside there are so many wonderful pastries. If you come earlier in the day, you'll find there's a lot more option, and they have also very famous white powder dusted pastry that's really popular, but they didn't have it while we were there because we came quite late at night, but there are still a lot of wonderful options. We remembered that we saw the ang butter while we were in Ikseon-dong earlier today, so we wanted to try it out at this cafe right here because they said that it was actually one of their most popular dishes. So we found a really beautiful, comfy spot at underneath one of the Hanok structures, I guess, and we were able to try out our ong butter, also an oat milk latte, which is so rare and hard to find in Korea. This is Devin right here. She's so sweet, and we had such a great time talking with her and just being able to talk about our experiences, the good and the bad, since we've arrived in Korea. This is the ong butter that we tried today. It was very interesting, to say the least. I mean, I don't know if we would order it again, but I'm glad we tried it. It was really cold outside, we were freezing, so we decided to head home. Our apartment was very close by, so Devin and us just came inside and we all just hung out and just talked for hours inside our apartment, which was honestly one of the best parts of our week. She gave us a lot of really useful advice and also shared her own experiences coming to Seoul, which was really helpful. So we're looking forward to meeting her again, and we're really grateful we got to explore Ikseon-dong and a little bit more of Seoul today.